Today on the Nerdy Gritty, Google has unveiled details on their new gaming service, Stadia. What do we think?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Nerdy Gritty, where we delve deep into the details of pop culture. I'm Dez.
And I'm Fox.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Let it go, let it go, let it go.
It's Disney now.
Disney finalized their purchase of most of Fox.
Yep.
As of midnight last night, as of recording this, they are now
$7 billion?
No, $61 billion.
$61 billion.
George Lucas sold them his one thing.
Yeah, but
for
what's
$4
better?
billion.
All of Fox? Or
That's
Star
what I'm
Wars?
saying. It's going to be
No,
way more
Star
than
Wars
7.
is the answer.
Oh, it is?
That's the better.
No, I disagree.
That's better.
They have it's not just like the rights to their Marvel characters. It's Fox TV.
Is it seriously just like everything?
No, the only thing they didn't get is Fox News.
Obviously.
They didn't get Fox News, Fox
That was
Business,
not gonna happen.
or Fox Sports.
Can you imagine if Disney took over Fox News?
Making Tucker Carlson wear like Star Wars branded T-shirts and stuff? Making him talk about how Lando Calrissian only got his job because of affirmative action. That's a joke stolen from the Family Guy Star Wars special. I cannot. That's too good for me to come up with.
That is good
Yeah,
though.
no, it's a thing. But they got right on it because on their homepage or whatever, Disney whatever, it already has like Deadpool and has like stills or like images of movies. So like they own The Shape of Water now. Like
This is what's gonna be like crazy town for me. Does that mean 21st Century Fox movies are coming to Disney Plus?
probably.
And does that mean that they're
So
coming
they also
off
own
of
a
everything?
controlling share in Hulu now.
Oh my! Disney owns every. Okay,
Yeah,
so
controlling
I saw,
share, not all of Hulu, 60%.
I saw they is a title or an article. It said Disney completes purchase of 21st Century Fox.
Yes.
And then under that it said what it should be. What the title should be.
From Dorkly, probably.
Disney just needs Amazon and Google to complete Infinity
To
Gauntlets.
complete their Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, they also released a trailer for Toy Story 4 yesterday.
Yes, they did.
And I'm guessing you were pretty happy about it.
Yes and no. I posted on Twitter. I tweeted about this.
Yeah.
Saying I'm pretty sure that they've just given up on being kids movies now.
Yeah. Oh,
and they're just
it's
emotional,
tugging on every
heartbreakers.
single heartstring
Yeah.
you have.
Like it's been this slow thing where like the first one was like
Yes.
90%, 10%, 90% kids movies.
Yeah,
then
and then
it was
a
like
sentimental, like-
75, 25, and
The
then
third
Toy Story
one-
3 was like 40, 60.
I've seen the third one. I've seen all three. Once. I've seen 2 and 3 maybe once each. The third one, I really only remember that they're in a trash compactor at the end, and it's like the most like they are just leaning so hard on you are sad right now.
Well, it's all about a
And then-
bear named Lotso who
Oh, yeah.
his family like abandoned him and
Right,
so now
right.
he's bitter
And
he's-
even the happy ending is sad because it's like moving on to a new
Right.
kid, right? Something like that. Yeah, there's been a lot of crap that's come out.
well, just this morning, so we're recording this on a Wednesday.
Yep.
Just this morning, Stranger Things season 3
Yes.
preview dropped.
Yes.
And it looks good.
I like Stranger Things. I even like Stranger Things season 2, although I understand that some of it was not great, especially when she goes to Chicago. I didn't like that.
Right, that whole thing with
it felt
8.
weird. It
Yeah.
felt like including other like experiment kids. It felt weirdly implemented.
I
It's
agree.
like
And
one
it didn't
episode of
play-
them, and then okay, bye guys. Like
It didn't play an overarching
Yes.
It didn't play into the overarching story at all.
Yes, it helped her. It helped 11 do a thing. Anyway, season 3, when I was watching this trailer, I was super pumped. And then it got to like the weirder like monster stuff, which I also love, but I lost interest when it hit that. I care about the characters in that far more than the weird like sci-fi storylines.
And I feel like that's what this trailer is trying to tell you is like,
Yes.
look, guys, it's Stranger Things. So we're going to have monsters. We're going to have we're going to have things. But guess what? This one is really about the characters. There's been a lot of things going on recently.
I have had a busy week as far as like pop culture stuff.
Oh boy. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, well, I'll let you get to your garbage in a
Yeah,
second.
no, you
here.
go first though.
So I've done a few things. First of all, as you're listening to this, I will have done our first week of a weekly stream we're going to be doing. And by we, I don't mean Fox and I mean my couple friends of mine, Josh and Nick and myself, are going to be streaming the Division 2 every week for a while. And
This is on Mondays.
it's going to be on Thursdays. Thursdays,
Thursdays,
Yeah,
okay.
from 8 to 11 Thursday nights, which is
Okay.
always a rough
Ooh, I
time
can
on the
tune in
West
for
Coast.
some of that.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we've been playing because we want to get familiar with it first.
Sure.
We're going to play for a while, and then we'll probably
Although
make new
people
characters.
being bad at games is fun to watch too sometimes.
But more importantly, I finished Kingdom Hearts 3.
You finished Kingdom Hearts 3.
And it's so beautiful.
It was a good
guys.
game?
It was wonderful.
Give us your arbitrary numerical out of 10 rating.
Okay, there's going to be two
Nope,
sides to this.
just give me your
Straight up 9 out of 10 then.
9 out of 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
just a straight up 9 out of 10.
It's all arbitrary, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. But
because I will
it
say
gives us your feeling toward it.
no, it was beautiful. It was really
Great,
really good.
great.
Okay.
I don't care.
Anyway-
I didn't even listen to anything.
No,
you just
I
said.
know. You just want to be
No,
pretentious.
no.
over
Here's
there.
the okay. Okay.
No, I'm not done yet.
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
I'm watching the most recent season of Gotham on Netflix right now.
Ah.
They just dropped on Netflix, and Gotham is one that my wife and I have
pick
been
it up.
following for a while. And we talked about this before, and I've said that this has decided not to go into the continuity of actual Batman at all. Like, it's
like
not trying to be a prequel
Okay, not in the continuity of what? What Batman?
of the comics.
Oh, just
Because,
any kind.
like-
It's
like-
just not following the standardized.
Mr.
Batman.
Freeze is an adult.
I understand. Yeah, the
things
villains are
like that.
mostly already adults, even though Bruce
The villains
Wayne
are pretty
is
much
a young
there.
child.
And yeah, exactly.
It'd be
So-
hard to make a Batman movie about young Bruce Wayne and also young villains.
Right.
Like 9-year-old Poison
Although
Ivy.
they do have that.
Do they?
9-year-old Poison Ivy is one, or
Really?
not 9, but like 10-year-old
I would
Poison
assume
Ivy.
Selena Kyle
And
would be an
Selena
easier
Kyle's
one.
also the same age.
Although they're not. How old are they? Like I feel like they're like young.
Now
teens,
they're
right?
like 18, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 17,
All
18.
right, there
but when
you're
it
getting
began, they were
easier
like
there.
14 or 15.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So anyway, it's great. They're including Bruce Wayne a lot more now. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
You have to like that style of show, though. But
This starts with Bruce Wayne's parents being killed, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But what released recently is that the seasons that are going live right now of both Arrow and Gotham will be their finale seasons.
Oh.
And I'm really happy with that as well. All right, go ahead.
No,
go
okay.
go
I have
ahead.
two big things to talk about. First, I went to Emerald City Comic Con last week.
Yeah, that's right.
It was
This
awesome.
I'm actually interested
This
in.
you are actually interested in. No, Emerald City Comic Con was a great time. It was at Washington State Convention Center where we go for PAX.
Yeah.
But the
you took
light-
pictures, and I'm like, I know that place.
But the lights were on.
Whoa.
It was kind of weird. I was like, oh yeah, right.
They have real lights in here.
Yeah.
At PAX, they turn all the lights off because all of the booths have all their own
screens
lighting
and,
and everything.
yeah. Anyway, it was really great. I'm the kind of I collect comics. I collect individual issues. I have, I've been working on the Sandman series for a long time. I'm somebody who at a Comic-Con spends at this time I literally spent my entire day. I only went for one day on the show floor.
Oh,
Like
nice.
the vendor floor.
So no
I didn't
panels?
I didn't do any panels. I looked at them. There was like one that I might be interested in, but it wasn't enough time. I wanted to look at more. Like I wanted to dig through long boxes and
Yeah.
look for cool artwork. Also, I've been continuing my participation in the. No, here's the thing. My participation in the Portland International Film Festival. I saw since we last recorded. I've seen 4 movies and 2 short films. I'm gonna save my favorite for last right now.
All right.
Not necessarily because it was the best or because it was my favorite. So on Saturday I saw 2 movies. One was called Sir, and one was called Maya.
Madam. Oh.
Maya. So I did not I've really not had any idea of what to expect for a lot of these movies. I maybe have a general idea, but nothing about how good it's supposed to be or anything. These 2 movies were shockingly similar. They were both mostly set in India. And they were both okay. So here's what I'll say. Sir and Maya were both about relationships, essentially. They were essentially like relationship drama movies, but from different points of view and different like contexts. I watched a movie last night called 2 nights ago, The Worlds of Ursula K. Le Guin. This is a documentary about
That's
fantasy.
the undersea witch?
Yes. No, it's a documentary about a fantasy sci-fi author. If you know anything about, she's basically the most prolific female or fantasy and sci-fi author in the world, as far as I know.
To say that she's the most prolific fantasy author in the world.
No, female.
When J.K. Rowling is a real person.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. Non-children's author.
Okay.
But
okay.
And also J.K. Rowling's books really wouldn't have happened without her.
I mean, I'm sure that's true.
That was mentioned in this. But it was a documentary not about I have never read an Ursula K. Le Guin book, and I loved watching this. Okay, here's the best movie I watched, a part of the film festival.
This one I'm excited to hear about.
It's called One Cut of the Dead.
All right.
I'm going to spoil this heavily.
Okay. If you want to see One Cut of the Dead, skip ahead.
You should watch it anyway, even if you keep
4 minutes.
Because it's skip ahead at some point. Yeah, a couple minutes. It is a movie that works way better if you know nothing about what that was what I learned. I just read like a 1-sentence blurb about it. It's like, go into this knowing nothing, and I did, and it blew. It was so much fun. It was essentially. Okay.
Go into this knowing nothing, and it was so great because of that. So let me tell you all about it.
That's why I'm saying it's spoiler. It's also not going to be the easiest movie to find to watch. So if you never really have the opportunity or just don't care about watching it, well, let me tell you about it. But if you want to watch it in the best possible way, don't listen to what I'm about to say. I'm also
all right.
Yeah. The first 30 minutes of this movie are a single take movie about a film crew filming a zombie movie who are then attacked by zombies.
All right.
Which was like beside the go into it knowing nothing, that was what I knew about this.
Right.
And it was real fun to watch. It was really fun. Throughout that time though, throughout that 30 minutes, there's a few things that you're like, well, that was weird. Wait, I feel like I saw legs in the background of somebody just standing there. Or at one point there's like a guy who's a character and he's supposed to be there, but he's just kind of like sitting in the background while this zombie is attacking, and then tries to crawl away at a certain point, and another character is like, what are you doing? Sit down, or something like that. And you're like, what is happening right now? Or like certain characters acting really strange, or like certain shots taking so like clearly like holding on to a certain shot, and you're like, okay, it's supposed to be a single take thing.
Right.
They were trying to like change something in the background, and so they held on this girl screaming for a minute straight because something is happening. You're like, okay, I get what's happening. It's still fun to watch. It doesn't break it. But then when that ends, it has like One Cut of the Dead and credits roll up, and you're like, that was only 30 minutes long. What is happening? And then it says 1 month earlier, and you find out that this 30-minute movie that you watched was supposed to be the kickoff of a new zombie channel in Japan, and it was a 30-minute live broadcast of a zombie film crew being attacked by zombies. The next 30 minutes are them like preparing for this. The director is like kind of an unknown. He's like going through all these struggles. One of the main characters is like this pop star who's self-centered, and all these things are happening, and the last 30 minutes of the movie are you watching that movie being made. Like being filmed.
So, wait, are there real zombies in this?
So essentially what you're watching for the last 30 minutes are a movie about zombies about a movie about zombies.
My brain. Well, now that we've all had to listen Fox be pretentious.
How was I pretentious? I'm just talking about movies. I didn't say like, well, you see, this movie was... Nope, let's move on. I'm going to stop.
Let's get down to the nerdy gritty.
Okay.
But first, we want to let you guys know that what you just listened to is a shortened version of our intro. We actually talked for more than half an hour.
Too long.
About a lot of different things, like the movies that Fox saw at the film festival,
Yep.
International Film Festival, Kingdom Hearts 3, The Division 2. You heard snippets of a lot of this, but we talked for a long time about this.
Yep.
If you'd like what we call the director's cut, we have a Patreon that we would really appreciate support on. You can head over to patreon.com/dezandfox, and at our $5 and $10 level, we, as of right now, are offering you the director's cuts versions of these podcast episodes, as well as early release for some of the videos that we record.
Some early release, some just exclusive stuff you won't see
and some
unless you're
exclusive
part
stuff
of that.
you won't see on our YouTube channel.
We're putting stuff up every week.
Yep.
It's so go ahead. We appreciate your support in whatever way it comes.
Absolutely,
though.
yes.
We will still continue to produce things. You'll still be able to hear our full conversation in the second half of the show every week, even if you're not
right. We don't
a patron.
edit our
we don't
actual
cut that out. That's
conversation.
the important part to us. So so you won't be missing out on that. But we would love it if you can make that happen. We'd love your support there on Patreon.
That's right. So, just recently, Google announced that they are coming out with a new console system.
Nope.
Though it's not...
Not a console system.
A console in as much as it's a piece of hardware.
They're talking about... No, it's a gaming system. It's a gaming service.
Gaming service.
That takes place
That's a good way to put
on
it.
any kind of platform that is Google operated or has Chrome.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You can play
Okay.
through Chrome. You don't even have to have a Google Google device. They announced this at GDC, Game Developers Conference 2019, yesterday as of recording. It's called Stadia. Let's go through a few of the details.
Well, first let's say that we did kind of talk about this before.
Yeah, we did.
So there were rumors of this a long time ago.
Well,
and we talked, and more than anything, what we talked about was, if somebody's going to create a brand new system, what do we think would be cool? So
that was a very different conversation. We're not trying to predict what Google would do, because if we were, then we failed miserably. We just talked about what if somebody produced a new video game console.
I still want a modular console, Fox.
Oh no, I think it's still a good idea. What we talked, there were rumors, there was confirmation, and then there was also a test run. Right. Basically, I need to find some details on this hardware slash software.
You do that.
I'm gonna do that.
So what we're going to be talking about is just kind of what impact this is going to have on the gaming community, kind of what we think is going to be happening in its success or maybe not success, how this is going to pan out. So we just want to talk about the different things that are going to be going on with the Stadia, which is, it's very unique in as much as there will be no hard copies of anything.
Yes.
And
you do not need to install a game.
Yeah, you don't even download anything.
You don't download. You do not buy a console. You do not buy a disc.
Right.
It is entirely 100%
it's streaming service.
Your game, which means it is technically playing on some hard drive somewhere in the world on a Google, some Google databank somewhere, and just displaying on your computer.
Yeah, essentially, it's just a display.
Yeah. You are the display. You are not performing any of the hardware aspect of it.
Which is really interesting, because the first thing right off the bat that this catches me for is, number one, this means that it can essentially almost play any game. So there are a lot of questions when a PC game comes out, or even on a console game, like is your hardware powerful enough?
Right.
Do you have the right OS? Does this run on Mac, Linux,
is this
PC,
an exclusive
whatever
to your system?
Right. Whatever. Blah blah blah. This is look, we have the game. We're putting it on the hardware that it needs, and it's going to have the power that it needs. As long as you have the internet, the appropriate amount of power of internet, you can play this game.
Yes. Now, there is one piece of hardware. There is a controller.
Right.
They have their own specific controller, but you won't even need it. If you have a USB PS4 or Xbox One controller, you can use that. Yeah, you won't even.
Wow.
They won't even require you to buy the controller. So there are a few things that we do not know yet. I've looked at a few different articles.
Number one, how?
There are important things. Price. They have not mentioned a price.
I'm guessing it's going to be a monthly service.
That's my guess. Yeah. Yes, 100%. And we'll talk about what we would pay and what we would want, but that's not a thing as of right now. They haven't talked about really any games that they're going to put on it, but except for the fact that Doom Eternal will be the kickoff. I think is like
that's
as one
pretty
of
cool.
the kickoff games is what I think I read. They also basically tested it out with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I'd be surprised if that's not also an option. But as far as that goes, that's really the only thing we know about software. They have told us a lot, though. There is a lot of information here it's worth talking about.
So let's run over some of the highlights here, Fox.
Yeah.
What do you got? And let's
so
talk
so
about
this
that.
is let's see. There's a lot of hardware stuff that they've talked about. How they're going, what they can. Let me get my.
Well, here's another thing I'll
Probably
say
should've just found a bullet
is
point one.
as far as like you can play anything. That's another issue that you run in with consoles or PCs a lot is the disc formatting. So if you're making a game for PS4, Xbox One, chances are you're also not going to make it for the Wii or for the Switch. I mean,
Right.
Because it's a different hardware. Like
Yeah.
you can't just swap it over like that. But in theory, this is just data. Like you should
In
be
theory,
able to.
I mean, there's obviously you can put in like a code that just says it won't work. Like,
Right. More what I mean is if you are a developer,
yes,
you can make a game knowing that, you know what, no matter what, it's going to be able to be played on Stadia.
yeah,
I don't have to, if I make it for PC, I also have to, make sure it can play on PS4 or more common these days. If I can play it on PS4, I got to make sure it plays on PC or
it's a
whatever
possibility.
else.
I'm not sure exactly how that will go. Like, is Stadia going to be like the Steam of console games where it's just like basically everything's put on there unless it's an exclusive, or like that's my big question. Here's some details though. I found the right spot.
Go ahead.
Google says it expects to support up to 4K at 60 FPS at launch over an internet connection with around 30 megabits of bandwidth. It's planning,
Which I'm guessing that's a typo. Not megabits. That would be like 3 megabytes.
no, megabits is the typical way to talk about internet connections.
Is it really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 100 megabits is a fairly standard. That's what I get.
Yeah.
Usually you get up to
Yeah, like
whatever.
75.
The next
Yeah.
big level that they say, is on Google Fiber and stuff is a gigabit,
Yes, and that's
which is crazy.
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Like it's basically instant loading.
Okay.
As far as what we have.
Got
Megabit
it.
is the correct way, not megabyte.
Okay.
Megabit. Yeah, 4K at 60 FPS at 30 megabits. That's pretty standard. Your internet connection, there's a good chance it's that. It's not guaranteed, especially depending on where you are in the world. If you have like a rural, you're out in the middle of nowhere and you have just whatever service, you might not have that because it's not worth doing all the hardware for the company. But if you're in a typically suburban or urban area, you'll probably be able to get that no problem. It's planning to support up to 8K resolutions and 120 FPS in the future.
Right, because that's the way we're going.
Right. Yeah, it's just the natural progression. Let's see. They're partnering with AMD to build a custom GPU for its data centers. It's a chip that Google claims will deliver 10.7 teraflops of power. I don't know what that word means, really, but it's a funny word. Here's what the important part is, though. It's more than the 4.2 teraflops of the PS4 Pro and the 6 teraflops of power of the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Technically, it's more powerful than both of those combined. Each Stadia instance will also be powered by a custom 2.7 gigahertz x86 processor with 16 gigabytes of RAM. One of the first games that will launch on Google Stadia service will be Doom Eternal, which is I'm very much looking forward to that. There's a lot of little like hardware things that we can talk about.
I mean, this is outlandish. So right off the bat, for me, I have concerns
You have
more than
concerns.
anything else.
Okay.
Because this all sounds phenomenal. It all sounds great.
Power-wise, sure.
It sounds too good to be true. So here's the reality. You know what also looked super cool at the time? Google Glass.
Yeah.
What happened to Google Glass?
It failed miserably. And
Yeah.
It's not a thing. People expected it to revolutionize the world. I was interested in it to have like an actual
HUD?
video game HUD on real life. I'd be so much. Well, in theory, I'd be so much more productive. If I had a mini map, I'd be like, I could just walk there, or it burn calories. Or if I had a daily quest, burn 500 calories, and it just like.
I mean, that's a thing.
It's a thing. I understand. There are ways I could do it. But if it was literally over my eyesight at all
on
time,
your face.
like an Iron Man style thing,
Yeah.
that would be cool. Anyway, I think this is a little more. I mean, obviously, it's going to be happening. Google Glass, it never reached like stores, as far as I
Production,
know. It
yeah.
never reached mass production, but it was a thing. People tried it beyond just like beta testing at a factory somewhere, you know. This streaming games is already a thing.
Yeah, but even though streaming games is already a thing on this scale, it is.
Yes,
This is never even heard of.
worldwide streaming.
Like, what are the chances? Well, and that right away is one of my other concerns. Let's address that.
Yeah.
The worldwide gaming community does not have that internet speed.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be a problem for the majority of the world.
Right.
The majority of the world does not. I mean, I don't know about doesn't have internet, but a good amount of the world doesn't have internet. A good amount of the world doesn't have great internet.
Right.
You get your major population centers, your first world countries are going to have that internet, but not everywhere. So that's going to be a hindrance at first. Now online gaming is already a thing everywhere, and so that's already a hindrance to a lot of people, and it doesn't really slow down those games being made or anything. So it's not a deal breaker. But if that's the only way that you can play a game, there's the deal breaker.
And that's what I'm wondering about and at that point, are they going to try and go the Xbox route or Xbox One route that they tried to do of being like, by the way, you never actually own these games.
Yes.
You're paying for the right to play these games.
Now, okay, so as far as Steam goes, if I buy a game, if I have a Steam key for a game on Steam, that I feel like I own more than I would feel, in theory, more than I would feel like I own a game that's being streamed to my device.
Right.
I don't feel like I own Avengers Infinity War, but I have watched it multiple times on Netflix. To me, that's paying for a service, whereas on Steam, technically I don't own any of the 400 games I have. I just own the ability to play them.
Yeah, but you know for sure that you don't pay for Infinity War, you pay for Netflix.
Exactly.
And they give you know they're going to charge you for Doom Eternal. You're going to have to buy Doom Eternal.
Well, so that's like they've announced a lot of things to me that don't matter as far as I'm concerned about gaming. I don't care about the power of a gaming machine. I don't care if a PS4 Pro is more powerful than an Xbox One X.
Mm-hmm.
That is not really what the point of gaming is to me. It is to a lot of people. I understand why they're talking about that. It also, shows that there's, technological advances happen. They're on the cutting edge. That's fair. Like, I'm not decrying that they said it, but that's not important to me. What's important to me is software. What's important to me is price. If I have to, paying monthly for a gaming service, I don't want to do. I want to pay once and be able to play it forever. Or until the thing breaks.
And that's exactly my concern right now is, like, for example, PS Plus. I'm a member of, I believe you're a member of PS Plus as well. And that's, you pay $50 or $60 a year or whatever.
Depending on when you buy the...
And you get free games from it, which is really cool.
It included in your price are a couple games a month.
A couple games a month.
Which you own as long as you have the service.
But it also offers other services.
Yeah. Well,
you can
online
also...
play. That's how you play online.
You can also buy games via the PlayStation Store and download them onto your console.
Hard drive. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if I stop paying for my PS Plus, all the free games that I got from PS Plus when I was a member, plus all the games that I purchased and via the PlayStation Store, I still can play.
No,
they're still my
no.
games.
You're half mistaken. The free games on PS Plus, you do not have access to. I mean, if they're installed,
if you download them,
I guess if they're installed, yes, that's why they. Anyway, but if you don't have them installed, you can no longer play them.
Well, no, yeah, if you don't have them installed, but if you download them,
I guess it's
the
same with games that you purchase but haven't installed.
Right.
That you weren't part of the free thing. Anyway, yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, I got you.
But my question is, if I'm using Stadia and I buy Doom Eternal, but then I don't want to pay for Stadia's monthly fee anymore, can I still log on to Stadia and play Doom Eternal? I would guess no.
Guess no. That's my that wouldn't really make sense. If they are having to do something, if they are having to stream something to your device from one of their data centers in the world, for you to be able to do anything, then they are going to continually have costs of that.
Right.
Every time you play, it's going to cost them resources or money, powering their data centers, new hardware they have to keep updated, things like that. Whereas if I go to GameStop and buy a disc that I put and a PlayStation 4 and a disc, but not the online service, I am not costing Sony any more money beyond just the original cost of producing that disc and that PS4. So
Right.
therefore, they don't have to charge me a monthly service to upkeep what they're doing. I've already paid them for it.
Right.
And so yeah, that's why I'm very interested to see what they're going to be charging.
It's going to be.
I don't see it happening any other way than a monthly subscription.
Because I know there are going to be kids who, when they're at home, they're 16, 17, 18 years old, they got a job, they are part of Google Stadia because their parents pay for that, and then they buy games from their own money.
Right.
But then you know what? They go to college and they move out, and they can't afford Stadia. All of a sudden,
to continue. Well,
to
yeah,
continue Stadia because they're in college. All of a sudden, all of those games that they bought with their own money is unavailable to them.
right.
No, get out of here.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Like to continue paying for it now.
It's like this holding their games ransom at that point.
A little bit,
Yeah.
I guess. But again, to me, it's just the video game version of Netflix.
No, because you don't pay for the movies on Netflix.
You pay for the service, though.
You pay for the service,
Now
but then you don't have to buy the movies
there's
after
the
that.
rub, though. Are they going to be just charging?
If they say $25 a month, you play any game
is
you
it
want
going
that
to-
releases,
Well, yeah.
that will blow my mind.
Well, that's essentially what the Xbox Game Pass is.
yeah, but
For
how
a certain
much,
amount of month, you can play all of these games.
and it's
a limited
amount,
selection.
though.
I mean, it's a good number of games.
Yeah.
You can play a lot of stuff. Probably, there's a lot of good games on there too. Like enough to keep you satisfied for probably a good long amount of time.
Right.
And they're adding every month. And so, yeah, I'm not expecting them to be like, okay, all the games that have ever been made are available. I'm expecting a pretty curated selection, especially at the start. Anytime you have a launch of a new system, this is essentially a system without the hardware. You're going to have a pretty small selection of games to play on that system. So I'm expecting that, and I don't expect them to... I'm expecting a subscription to a service without additional fees for games. That's what I'm expecting, because that's what makes most sense to me.
It makes the most sense, but for a money-making organization, I don't know, because at that point, your monthly fee of $20 or whatever, is that going to cost, or is that going to pay for their payments to every developer, every publisher,
Right.
like whoever's doing all this stuff? Because I mean, in theory,
It
they
works
could,
for Netflix.
Yeah, it does. It does. It
You
works
pay
for
them,
Netflix.
and,
Yeah.
like they produce their own stuff. They have plenty of first or third party stuff, more than well, maybe not more than their first party stuff now, but because they make movies every 30 seconds.
Your average movie on Netflix, though, is significantly cheaper than your average video game.
It's true. Typical cost for a Blu-ray, which is the current thing, is what, $25 or $30?
Yeah.
Typical cost for a game
double
is double that.
Yeah.
So that does skew things. To me, a big problem with like the service thing, even if it's, I guess in my mind, the better version of just paying for a monthly service, is that that's going to add up.
Yes, it is.
For PlayStation 4, I paid $300, or a Switch $300 also. That's a one-time fee of $300. But if let's go conservative, $10 a month for Stadia. Probably not going to be that cheap unless it's a very limited selection of games or something. Even then, playing for 2.5 years, you've already spent $300.
But if the games are free on there, because here's what I expect them to do. This is my honest expectation. 10. It's not going to be 10. It's going to be 15 to 20 at least.
At least.
Yeah, but let's pretend it's $10 a month. And here are some free games that you get also for $10 a month.
Maybe all their first-party games are free.
Right. Also, you got to pay for all of these games.
You still need to,
you
have
buy.
to pay for your internet connection.
Right.
That is an inherent cost before you even can consider playing a Stadia.
Right.
So that's in it.
So, to me, that would make sense because you're talking, again, let's say you play for 2 years, that's $240 over 10 months. Well, how many of the free games did you play of Stadia? How many of those games did you play? Or $240 on your $400 laptop to play top AAA PC games? Well, then you've saved thousands of dollars on a top-of-the-line PC.
That's a good point.
So
yeah, comparatively,
yeah, so there are definite like financial ways to look at this
that's
and
true.
be like that
You're gonna
could be
get
worth it.
more games likely. Yeah, you're gonna get more game. Like if I'm, I paid $360 for a Switch and Breath of the Wild to play that one game, whereas if I paid $10 a month for 36 months, I'm getting the quote unquote console, the service,
Right.
plus games, more
Yes.
than one game, very likely.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess that's how you look at it. It's just still going to add up. I want all of my
It
consoles
will,
and services to last a long time. And personally, I like the idea of paying once rather than consistently.
And for an online streaming service, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think.
No,
there's
absolutely
gonna,
not. No, because they have continuous services.
Right.
Like they have continuous costs.
Right.
So they will need continuous income. You don't pay once for Netflix. You pay eternally because we are all slaves to the Netflix. Although
Not
Disney
when-
Plus
yeah,
is
not
going
when
to
Disney
be
Plus comes
taking-
out.
Like the announcement today made me consider, you know what, maybe I will. They'll have legitimate
delicious.
yeah. And man, somewhere Bob Iger is just like sitting from his throne in his evil lair somewhere
In Disney Castle.
In Disney Castle, in Disney World. Yes, he is becoming Maleficent.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about our worries and our concerns.
Our worries and concerns, yes.
Let's talk about what we're excited about, what possibilities this could
now.
bring.
Okay, here's a good bridging idea.
Okay.
Google is king of advertising.
Yes.
Facebook and Google are the two largest advertisers on the internet. Google, I think, is the top. Facebook
Right.
is second because Google is everywhere and Facebook is just on Facebook,
Right.
well, and Instagram. But because they own Instagram.
Yes.
But Google already has all the money in the world.
Okay.
Foundation.
Good things. Things
Yes.
that we're excited about for this.
I think because Google is super profitable and one of the if not the biggest company in the world already, and I think that might be Amazon. Anyway, that they can eat a lot of costs up front to get you in there. Now, of course, they might increase costs later, but sure. That they already have a lot of these things established. They don't have to build data centers for this. They will because they're always building data centers, but they already have data centers that they can just use.
Yes.
So a lot of that cost is already built into what they have pre-existing.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, the cloud is not an imaginary thing.
It's not
what it is
ethereal.
It's literally a building somewhere.
Many buildings.
Yes, somewhere that is just
Filled-
stacked with essentially computers.
With hard drives, yes.
Yeah.
Like that store this data when you're not looking at it.
Yes.
I mean, store it when you're looking at it also, but it's there. And so they already have a lot of that built in. I think this is a logical step for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that will also, I think to help in this cost thing, we've talked about load sharing, where
yeah.
they use your computer to do some of the processing
Yeah.
when you're not playing. There you go. That reduces costs. When
Yeah.
I'm not playing Stadia, my computer is actively helping others play Stadia. Where when I am playing, it's Google data centers, but also other people's computers. So
Which is fine.
It's it's a global gaming system that's not just. So there's a lot that goes along with that, but that's a positive thing, I think.
You know what I'm excited for and would sell me on it? This isn't a confirm, but this is like an easy possibility they have.
Okay.
And you guys should definitely do this, Google. Play the first hour for free. Play the first hour for free, then they cut you off and they say, do you want to buy it now? If I could try out my games like that and get them a good test in and see if I get into it, and what's going to happen, games that I never, ever, ever would have even tried before because I didn't want to pay $60 for it.
It's true.
I might get hooked on it. You and I were just talking about the Division 2.
Yeah,
and if I were
you
trying to
played the
tell you,
demo,
like,
right.
hey, well, not even the demo. I was telling you, hey, it'd be really fun if you could play with us. And you're like, I got a lot of the games I'm playing. I probably wouldn't want to get into that.
It's another $60 that I have to spend.
You know what? If you played an hour with us, I bet you'd reconsider that.
Oh, very
pretty
much
heavily.
so. You can kind of do this on Steam already, but because of the Steam refund thing.
Right.
But you have to pay for the game first,
Right.
which is a problem. And also, I think if you just try to refund games over and over again,
They eventually say,
they're going to
"Stop
say,
it."
"Hey, stop! Don't do that." Maybe, I don't know. I've only done a refund a couple times, but yeah, that'd be a real possibility because you don't have. There's a lot less that you have to have. You don't have to have a PlayStation to try a PlayStation game, or you would have to have a PlayStation 4 to try out that PS4 game.
Right.
With Stadia, you just download Chrome.
Yeah.
Like it's a free download. Everybody already has access to the system who has an internet connection.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good one. Good things. they have confirmed that they are full in on cross-platform play.
Yeah.
100%, like they are going for it, which is great. Doesn't really affect me a whole lot because I'm not a big multiplayer guy, but that's a good thing. That is where the industry should be going.
Yeah.
So that's a
Sony.
selling point. Hey, they've done a little bit, but yeah, they're still the problem. No, yeah, that's a big deal. A big seller for me is, what are your games?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing, but I don't know what they're going to have on their system. The only game I know is a game that's already going to be on other systems. So.
And this is kind of what I mean, is as a developer, if you are making your game for the PS4, because Sony's going to give you the most money, but you're able to do, or Sony, Xbox One, they're going to give you the most money, you can still just be like, well, I mean, we formatted it to play on their hardware, but it's not hard to change it so you can just play it on a PC.
Well, you still
Here
have to
go.
port it.
Right.
You still have to port a game to the PC. It's a different
But it's much easier
system.
than porting it to the Switch or something like that.
I suppose. Yeah, very much so. Well, yeah.
So the
there won't be
ability
hardware
for-
limitations.
Right.
Yes, you're right.
The ability as a developer to be like, you know what? I want this on the Stadia, and I don't have to put in 100 hours of extra work to make this happen.
I don't know how this works entirely, but it would probably be easier. Yes, I would agree with that.
Right.
But you still would have to port it. It's not just
Right.
All right, here you go. Here's my files. Here you go.
Here are my files.
Yeah.
I put it all on a jump drive. Here.
If I could get that back, that'd be great. Yeah. So I could see that being a thing. Yeah, that's a big positive for me. Is that because it's Google, it's already a global brand.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have first party stuff.
So party.
But I think it would be. I think I'm hoping that they will lean into just everybody plays all the games.
So, final thought on this then. What do you think, as much as what is your excitement level? What is your expectation of this? What do you think is going to happen with the Stadia? Go.
I think it'll be fine. I don't think it'll revolutionize everything. I think it's going to make streaming, because Google owns YouTube, that's going to be a big part of it. I'm excited about some of that, I guess. But I think it's just going to be a new service. I'm not sold on it. I don't even know exactly what they would need to do to sell me on it. Maybe just, hey, you don't get to play Elder Scrolls 6 unless you have Stadia, maybe. But that's not going to happen, obviously. I think it'll come out and people will be like, this is awesome. I don't think it'll be a fad. I think it's where the industry's going. But also, I don't think it'll be anything amazing. I think we'll still continue to have hardware consoles that come out every couple of years.
Absolutely.
It won't change the entire world.
It will, at least not in our lifetime, consoles will not die.
Right.
Yeah. If anything else, right now consoles are dominating and PC gaming is slow. It's has dwindled
kind of
from over the years. But here's what I'll say: I fully expect this to kind of go the way of Netflix, where it was incredible, it was amazing, everybody loved it, everybody got on board, and then everybody else saw what Netflix was doing and was like, "Wait, we cannot rent our property to you.
We can
and
just do
keep
that too."
Yeah, we can just. And so I think that Uplay was going to have their own streaming, or will have their own streaming service, and then Epic will have their own streaming service.
It's just kind of how technology goes. You have your innovator, and then you have your
and then
copycats.
Google's going to have to survive on first party stuff. Like Netflix is going to have to survive on their first party, which it's good. It's very good content, and I'm sure Google will make good content. But
sure, maybe
it'll just be one of many. They'll be the one to kick it off, and they'll be the one for everybody to get real excited about. But then it's going to end up just being one of the many.
It's just I think out of the rest of this, I think Nintendo is the least worried.
No. Yes, agreed.
Yeah, the most of the money in the industry comes from the big third party or big AAA games that are both on Xbox, and Nintendo makes their money. But I don't think that's where you shoot if you want to be a money making. And so I think Nintendo's like, cool, sounds all right. Maybe we'll
guys have fun with that.
Maybe some of our games will be on there. You're not getting the next Zelda, but we'll put Toad Treasure Tracker 2 or whatever. You get whatever.
Probably not actually.
Actually, no, not that.
You can. Maybe we'll have one of our under studios.
Oh yeah, Mario vs. Rabbids 2 will also be on Stadia. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think who should be worried? Sony and Microsoft probably.
And even then, I don't think they should be worried. I think they should just be watching.
Yeah.
And you know what? let's see what you guys do with this.
Yeah, and then they'll do something similar on from their own system.
They will.
They probably won't be as profitable, but it'll be
It'll be
like the Sony move coming out after the Wii,
Right.
where some people got into it. It's still an option. Like motion tracking is still a thing, but it's it's just another service. That's
Yeah. So Google Stadia, it's great on paper, and it sounds like it's going to allow for a lot of really cool things. It sounds like we both kind of think it's going to be a starter of some things, but nothing revolutionary.
it'll be a big deal, but not change the world.
Right. Well, guys, thanks for listening. Let us know your thoughts on Stadia. Let us know what you think is going to be happening with Google and what's going to be happening with the Stadia in the future. Also, let us know what you think about sandwiches.
They're important.
We'll see you guys next time. Remember, save games, save lives.
See you next week.